entrepreneurs don't need education. They just need opportunity and capital.
Hi, I'm Chris Hellman. I'm a senior editor at Forbes magazine. I'm here today with David Halbert. We're visiting his golf course, Halbert National, here at Granbury, Texas. We're about how many miles southwest of Fort Worth would you say we are, David?
Oh, we're 60 from DFW Airport.
Okay, so we're in North Texas. It's green right now. We got lots of rain on the course this year, so we're looking forward to seeing your brand new course. Why did you want to build your own golf course, David?
You know, it was not something that I really spent that much time thinking about. We built this lake house in 2004, 3 and 4, and my wife wanted to buy the property across the lake. We bought it, and she said, wouldn't it be great if I had a course there so I could play without anybody watching me?
Okay.
Because she always feels pressure to pick up and move on. And so it was kind of been in our mind for a while. And some of my friends started naming it, Halbert National, and they call it our lake house Camp David, as we used to have a big 4th of July party here. And so it was in our mind as maybe a par 3 course.
Okay. So you were not an overnight success in business. About 20 years ago now, you sold your first public company, and that made you some money. And then just recently, you've had the IPO of Caris Life Sciences, which has been, I believe, one of the most successful IPOs this year. Your market capitalization is already $10.3 billion. So congratulations for that. Is this the kind of thing that you expected to do? I mean, you've got a public company you're running. Do you have time to focus on this golf course? How do you find time for this?
Well, it's sort of my only hobby, if you will. And I've always loved to play golf. I've played all over the world. It's been fun. But the idea of actually building one came about more from a friend of mine is on a board with Tom Fazio.
Okay, so this is a Tom Fazio design course.
And so, and I'm a member of 4 different Fazio clubs. And I love Tom, and he helped build Dallas National, which was the first time I met him. And I thought he's the greatest designer in the history of man. I mean, he's got 47 of the top 200 are Fazio courses. The next guy is down like 18, and he's been dead for 80 years. So he's definitely the best designer. And so I asked him to ask Tom if he would be willing to do it, because Tom selects his own clients. And it was really more seasonality. I learned a lot about seasonality building the course, about when you can plant trees, when you can't plant trees, when you can sod, when you can sprig, when you can't sprig, and all that. But this was more the season of my life, where I was 67 years old, Tom was 77, and it literally was, if I'm going to do it, I got to do it now.
Okay.
And I said, Tom, we got to make it number 1. And everybody kind of bought into the idea that we make it number 1, a number 1 Fazio course, and number 1 in Texas. And
you say this is a season of your life, but this is the kind of thing that a person can't do unless they've achieved some success before that season. So take us back to maybe the early 2000s when you first acquired this land, and you thought, you've got this lake here that we're sitting next to, and you can see the course across the lake, but back then it was just hayfields, is that right?
That's right. It was hayfields, and we had some cattle running there. We had ag exemption.
Okay.
And
so somehow that turned into, let me spend $50 million plus on a golf course. I mean, walk me through how you convinced yourself that was the passion that you wanted to put your money towards.
Well, I love golf. I love golf. I've loved playing golf. My game is deteriorating, unfortunately, so it's not the best time to be playing that much, but I had a lot of ideas about what I wanted to try to do. We did 15 different routing plans, and I ended up being pretty perfect in a way. We have 2 5s on each 9, 2 3s on each 9, 9 returns to, we don't have a clubhouse, but to our lodge or our porch we have right now.
And so when you first talked to Tom Fazio about this land here, was he open to the idea? Is this the kind of thing where you need to convince him to work with you?
I did. And I said, well, Tom, I'll send the plane out and pick you up and come on out and let's look at the land. And he did. And we got to be friends. And he's used to come and spend the night, I think 11 or 12 times here. We make dinner for him, and his sons have all come here as well.
So you guys were very involved together in this process. It's not
absolutely.
just Tom Fazio going off into his citadel and coming back with the plan. It's kind of a give and take.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's one of the things people really like about Tom that certain other designers they don't like about. Tom is very open. He's very open to input from different people. A lot of people were involved. A lot of his people were involved. Our builder, the Integrity Golf, Jade Work, there was involved, and his shaper, Jason, who actually, the shaper is the guy that runs the bulldozer.
Okay.
And knows exactly the kind of shape, and you'll see it when you get over there. It's beautifully shaped.
So would they let you get on the bulldozer and move any dirt?
They would have let me, but I didn't want to.
Leave it to the experts, huh? So what advice would you give to other Forbes 400 members who might be thinking of perhaps building their own golf course? I mean, this is not the first time that a person of your means has crafted their own course. Ted Turner has one. Michael Jordan built his own course. I think Larry Ellison had one that perhaps Porcupine Creek, if I'm not mistaken.
Our director of agronomy
Yeah.
was the superintendent of Porcupine Creek, whatever, Ellis's place.
So were you inspired by those guys? And what would you tell other folks who might be thinking of embarking on this adventure?
You know, I would say if you're going to take the time to do it, I mean, you should do it right. You should. It was the most fun thing I think I've ever done.
Really?
Was to build that course.
So compared to all of the other escapades, adventures that you could go on, given the smorgasbord of opportunities in front of you, this is something that you would do again, given the chance?
Well, I don't know about that. It was kind of a one-in-a-lifetime kind of thing for me. I mean, Tom obviously does it all the time.
Right.
I don't think I could do that. It was a very passionate thing for me. So, I mean, every time Tom was here, we walked the whole course.
Oh, that's
and he walks.
That's great. Yeah.
He doesn't ride. In fact, he had open heart surgery in the middle of the project.
Wow.
And would still come out here and walk. He outwalks me like I'm a kid.
This is a private course of, this is just for your family. It's a shame though if no one gets to play something so beautiful. What's your long-term objective? What are you thinking in terms of opening this up to other players?
Well, I certainly intend to have it played. You know, I wouldn't build the course. It's very new. So this is really the first full summer of grow-in that we're just finishing now. And the native is very slow growing. It's 12 to 18 months for it to come in. So when people come, I'd like for it to, be at its best. Also the structures, we only have one structure over there now. We're building a lodge and a party barn and 4 cabins and a porch.
Okay.
So we have, there's no clubhouse, there's no club. So
it's not like you're going to be doing weddings out there like some people do.
Hopefully my granddaughter will do a wedding out there.
Oh, good.
She's 19 and sophomore at UT. And so I told her, I think the party barn is going to be the perfect spot for your wedding.
Excellent, excellent. And so you're a member of Dallas National, of course. So are such players as Scotty Scheffler and Jordan Spieth. Do you think they might get invites to come out here at some point?
All of the touring pros that are touring pro members at Dallas National are invited.
Really? Okay, cool. All right. Tell us a little bit here about what Caris Life Sciences does. I understand that you're working on solving all of humanity's chronic diseases by using AI to analyze our genomes and sort out what kind of what kind of ailments our personal makeup might make us susceptible to. So how are you going to solve all those problems for us?
That's a good question. Yeah, but the idea was I was fortunate enough to have sold my company at the age of 48. I had
What was that one called? Your first company?
Advanced PCS.
Yes, and you sold that to who now?
Caremark.
Yes, and
Yeah,
that was a huge success and a big payday for you.
It was a $7.5 billion deal, and it was a startup.
Yes.
So, from a raw startup to Fortune 250, and then sold to $7.5 billion. We reported 38 consecutive record EPS quarters. Never missed, never revised downward. Beat over 80% of the time. We were public. Grew our EPS 85% compounded.
So after that, some people might have said, I've already achieved everything I need to in life. I'm just going to go golf. But you decided that you needed to start a new business. Why was that?
Well, I'm kind of an analytical person. And so I sat down with some of my partners and kind of whiteboarded what would life be like if you could make it what you wanted. And it literally started with, more of what I want and less of what I don't. And so then I realized that it was much easier to say what you don't want than what you do want. Because you start out with love and happiness and, fun and, but that's not necessarily consistent with achievements, and more accomplishments, which I wanted to do. So, but I knew I didn't want to be bitten by a shark, and I knew I didn't want to be kidnapped.
Okay.
I knew I didn't want to be incarcerated. I knew I didn't want to be confined. And so I came up with these 7 rules, and I knew I didn't want to be sued by a family member, among other things. But I had some ideas, so I started 4 companies. And the big one was, what if we could make personalized medicine a reality for mankind?
Yes.
So no business plan. It was always just about the patient, which came from the first outside investor we had was J.H. Whitney.
Okay.
The founder of J.H. Whitney was Benno Schmidt. And Benno was chairman of Memorial Sloan Kettering, and he was the first czar for the war on cancer, appointed by Richard Nixon in 1972.
No kidding. Wow.
He was chairman of Vertex, chairman of Genetics Institute. And he said to me, David, we have a policy at J.H. Whitney. We would never want to invest. We will never invest in a for-profit healthcare provider. I said, well, Ben, that's a problem because you're a venture capitalist. I'm an entrepreneur. My dad is a general surgeon.
Yeah.
So he's a for-profit healthcare provider. Why is it? He said, well, we will never want to be in a position to potentially compromise patient care for profit.
Okay.
So not-for-profit is the only way to go in healthcare. I mean, that's just not right. And I've been dealing with a lot of Blue Cross Blue Shield plans, a lot of not-for-profits, and they were exceptionally dysfunctional. And so the idea was, what if I had a company that was only focused on improving the quality of life and extending life? That's it, of the patient. And there was no real, business plan. And so...
No way to make money. Let's start this business anyway.
Well, I had the theory that if I actually did extend life for a lot of people,
Yeah, they might
I'd
pay
figure
you.
out a way to pay me, right?
Yes.
But we didn't have it ahead of time. It was no like we're going to do this and then they're going to pay us. And so somewhere along the way, we developed what we call the Trojan horse strategy, which is basically do one thing and get paid for while you're actually working on something else. So I didn't know anything about nucleic acids or amino acids or proteins or DNA or RNA or whatever. So I had to learn a lot. And I didn't plan on doing that because I thought I could just hire scientists.
You're not a doctor. You don't have a
Not
PhD
a doctor.
or anything.
I have an honorary doctorate.
Okay, all right.
But I didn't plan on doing it. I thought I could hire scientists to do it. Right. And I went through 3 CEOs and 3 CSOs in a relatively short period of time. So I acted as the CSO for about 2 years and designed all the experiments, and it was a great experience.
And this is all in the DNA analysis and genomics.
Well, we found a business where we could interrogate cancer cells from a biopsy,
Okay.
molecularly, and determine which therapy would work and which therapy would not work. And we were building a database over time, larger and larger. We were learning more and we were trying different types of experiments. We started out with protein analysis with IHCs, and then we moved into next generation sequencing, came out in 2011. So we started this company in 2008.
Okay.
And the next generation sequencing then opened up all kinds of opportunity for us. And so we had a limited panel. We ran some experiments and learned that we could, well, we have a product that we call Full First, and it's for late stage cancer, colon cancer patients. Should you use Full First or Full Fury
Okay.
first? Because you're going to get both of them. They're generic chemos. So we looked at our database and we discovered a 67 gene signature, DNA only. And when we directed the therapy correctly, it more than doubled overall survival for the patient.
And you had all of this data because doctors are sending you blood samples and tissue samples from thousands, hundreds of thousands of patients that you have samples from by
Yes.
now, is that right?
Yes. Over 800,000 in total. We have almost 600,000 now with whole exome and whole transcriptome.
And those are thousands of genes. in
That's
each.
every gene, 22,000 genes. So every coding gene, both DNA and mRNA. And we also have all the treatment data and the outcomes data for all those patients.
How confident are you that over the next 5 to 10 years, by applying new AI technologies to all of this data, all these genomes, how confident are you that you'll be able to figure out how to cure all these chronic diseases? Is this obviously going to work as far as you're concerned?
It definitely works. But that's how we started with cancer, interrogating cancer. And then over time, we started running whole exome, whole transcriptome, so every coding gene. And then we started looking at other disease states, especially cardiovascular.
Okay.
Because there's a particular, I can't pronounce it, but we call them chips, that we could isolate and interrogate for the removal from blood for cancer patients. But chip is also tied directly to cardiovascular disease and heart attack. So we started looking at chip as it related to cardiovascular. And basically, to simplify it, what we could do is if we could get pristine samples of someone, let's say we're about to launch a blood test for breast cancer. So we get, in this particular case, we got 700 women with breast cancer and 3,300 that didn't have breast cancer. We run all the genes, and then we have, we put it in the cloud, and then we have an AI that comes in and says, these features are in this group, and they're not in this group, and these features are in this group, and they're not in that group.
Therefore,
And then we have a different AI called Dean, and Dean comes in and then scores each one of the features, and then puts together a signature from those features that maximizes the performance if you're calling breast cancer or not calling breast cancer.
goodness. Okay.
So now the next step that we learned was now we have this signature and it's going to have a target. And so we find that target, and then we can find a pathogenic mutation, or perhaps not even a pathogenic mutation, a mutation that's tied to that particular target.
Okay.
We can then design a specific immunotherapy personalized to that particular target. You can then make it and then inject it just like a COVID virus vaccine. And it stimulates your immune system to go kill it.
Okay. You started off saying that the idea was to create a company that is not a for-profit medical company.
Well, we were saying we're not going to make profit. We're not going to do anything for profit. We would never compromise patient care. So we developed what we call the mom rule.
Okay.
So we treat every patient as if they're your mom. My mom died of multiple myeloma in 2003, and so it became very personal for me. And I would never compromise patient care. But even more than that, I would have to be doing it much better than everybody else. If you talk to someone that's in our business, they would say, oh, Halbert doesn't know what he's doing because he's running every gene. He's wasting money. He doesn't need all those genes. Well, when I looked at that 67 gene panel that more than doubled overall survival, there were only 25 of those that were even on a panel of our competitors.
Oh, they don't even know what they don't know.
No, they weren't even on the panel. Yeah. So even if they had known the signature, they couldn't have run it. And so the same is true. We call them AI insights now. We spit out a new AI insight about once a month. We just did one for lung. We just did one for breast. We just one for ovarian cancer. And in many cases, they're doubling overall survival by knowing which drug to use and which one not to use. And these signatures that we're using could not be run by anyone else because the markers we're using are not on their panel.
I see. This is incredible. I can't wait to see where Caris goes from here. But we have to bring this back to golf because, you know, that's why we're here. Well, how do you, in your mind, see the connections between healthcare and golf? Is there any similarities to you in how you approach these different areas, or is it totally separate?
I've never connected the two, but I must say I saw a commercial today. I was watching CNBC. Our commercial came on, and another commercial came on. I think it was a city commercial, and they said, you know, if you look at tennis is on the same court, or pickleball on the same court, but golf, every hole is different. Every shot is different. Every shot's got to be customized for that particular hole. So I'd say in that regard, there is some similarity, but I only saw that today.
Can you tell us about how much it costs to put something like this together or to maintain? Is this, you know, millions of dollars a year to keep up? Well, probably so, right?
Yeah.
Is it more than you thought it would be?
It is a little bit right now, but we're still growing in.
Right.
I think once we're grown in by next summer, it'll be about where I thought it was. It's about the same as our flight crew.
When you start a project like this, did you have a budget in mind, or was this a thing where, you know, I want it to be the biggest and the best, and I know that's going to be expensive, and I don't know what the end is going to be yet, but let's do it. I mean,
no. In fact,
I think
that was one of the things that was attractive to Tom, because I said, Tom, you're always working for a membership committee, or Discovery Land, and there's a real estate development, you know, and you can't really build what you want. This, I'll have no budget, so it's a no budget course. You can spend as much as you want and do whatever you want on it, and you can make it hard, because you can't make courses too hard if it's a real estate development or a membership.
All right.
And it took him a long time to buy into that. He actually said to me one time, he said, if you make this course hard for Scotty Scheffler, no one else is going to be able to play it. I said, well, Tom, I'm not trying to make it hard for Scotty Scheffler. You're the one that said that. And so then after the BMW last year, I picked him up at the airport. He said, did you see that BMW? It was Hovland and Scheffler and Hovland and Scheffler. And did you see that bunker they were flying? That bunker was 320. They are not going to do that to this course. I'm making this course 7777. And I want you to put it in the clubhouse, 7777.
And what does that denote?
7,777 yards.
Oh, okay. Wow.
And we haven't been able to get that yet. I'm putting in 7 new tees right now.
To get that extra length?
Well, 2 of them for extra length. I'm making a 260 par 3, and I'm making a 620 par 5.
Okay.
That'll add probably 150. We're 7,500 right now, so it'll be a 7,650.
You know, it strikes me that this is a lot like the way an artist would approach a project, a sculpture or a painting. And artists often have a hard time knowing when a work is finished, completed. When are you going to know that you finally achieved the vision that you had in mind for Halbert National?
Well, I think we've achieved the vision already. In terms of being finished, that'll be probably in my coffin.
Hopefully,
definitely
many,
not-
many years from now.
I'm definitely not finished. I've got all kinds of ideas. I'm putting walking trails on it. I just put in a short course.
Okay.
I'm putting in some trellis and gazebos on the walking course. I stocked 3 of the lakes with Texas bass. I stocked the big lake with Florida genetically modified bass. They get up to 18 pounds.
Okay.
And I'm putting a dock out there, putting in a bait shop. We have walking trails. We wouldn't normally have walking trails on a golf course, but we encourage people to come out. I want all my grandkids to come out here.
Good.
And I want something for them to do that they can enjoy. So we may put a playground in,
Fun.
as well.
What else do we need to know about your company and the course and how you got to this point? Maybe what advice might you have for other entrepreneurs who see what you've accomplished and they want to kind of follow in your footsteps or be inspired by you? What would you say to that next generation of people who want both a publicly traded company and their own golf course?
Well, one thing I would say about our company is that we're going to be a multi-trillion-dollar company. Unless we do something really stupid, because there's no one else working on this in the world, and we are very close to launching these products with treatments. In terms of advice, I don't know what kind of advice. I mean, I've worked with a lot of people, talented people, but they may not be the right DNA for entrepreneurship.
And it's not like you went to one of those fancy schools and got
Listen,
into
I went to
business
Abilene
that way.
Christian.
Yes.
Okay.
So tell me how that was a benefit for you.
School?
Yeah,
It wasn't.
it wasn't.
No. No, it wasn't.
But you've made the most of it because you had your own internal drive.
Well,
and-
think about it for a second. Larry Ellison didn't even get his GED. He dropped out of high school.
Good.
Jobs out of high school.
Yeah.
Gates,
Dropped out of
out of
Harvard,
college,
right.
freshman year. Dell, freshman year, drops out. Entrepreneurs don't need education. They just need opportunity and capital.
And there's plenty of that these days for now.
Well, there certainly is for us. I mean, it was a time when no one would put money in it. And I hired JP Morgan to help find outside investors. Didn't have a single, 28 meetings, didn't have a single bite. So I put the first 500 to 600 million in of my own money, which is why I still own 44% of the company, post IPO, which is unusual for a founder.
It is. Yeah.
But I didn't have that much money when I sold ADVP, was my symbol in advance. So I had to sell the other 3 companies to get enough money to put it in. So the 3 other companies I started, I sold for a collective 1.2 billion with a weighted 7x return on that money, which was mostly mine.
So that was out of your private equity business that you created.
That's right.
In a sense.
I was able to sell the companies to fund it. And then we were counting on this, if we do enough good, people are going to pay us, and that ended up being correct.
Very nice. All right. For your next golf course, where is that going to be?
There won't be another one. There won't be another one. But the other thing I didn't know, of course, it was hayfields over there.
Yeah.
I had no idea if the land was going to be that great.
What does it need to be?
I read a book on Tom Fazio one time, and he said, I don't design golf courses, God makes golf courses. But this was pre-Shadow Creek. Now, that all changed after Shadow Creek because, it's in the middle of the desert. So he brought all of that in. And now he's being criticized for not going with the natural terrain. So we walked the land for the first time. I said, Tom, I don't know. It's just a bunch of red clay out here and fields. He says, no, you don't know, David. I'm going to take a bulldozer right here in this spot. I'm going to go down 35 feet. I'm going to push that dirt up here. I'm going to have a 60-foot drop from right here to here. I'm going to make a lake right here. We'll build this street. So he, of course, had done it his whole life, and I had never done it. So one thing I did learn is you can do a lot moving dirt.
Yeah. It's quite a property, so thanks for sharing it with us.
Of course.
And thanks for your time today, sir.
No, thank you.
All right, this is
Appreciate you coming.